Okay, I put together a couple ideas. I didn't get quite as carried away like with big bins and elevators, but I put a couple ideas together. So you had mentioned using up this space between these bins. Now, if you're thinking you're always going to want your dryer front here, if you stick with a screen dryer, I'm going to say that's fine to let your dryer front here, even if you upgrade. And if that's the case, we can fit a 21-foot bin here, 10,000 bushel, and we can fit an 18-foot bin here, that's 5,000 bushel. Now, it really depends if you want quite a few small bins or if you want to go to big bins, because we're going to look at a few options here. I did 3 different layouts, and in this case right here, we would have you take another bin like your bin here and put it out here in the driveway. Bring your unload back this way, that way they're close together to load out. So that would gain you 36,000 bushel right there. So if you don't know what you want to do with this all down here in the future, if you're not sure after you see everything I drew, maybe your next storage bin for corn should be a 36,000 bushel bin here, and you can blow it up here with the blower, let your dryer where it's at, put the blower in, start with that. Down the road, that's going to be your most cost-effective bin per bushel, to have a bin that's same height as diameter. The more bushels you hold, the less cost they are per bushel. So this would be that design. If you put then you could put a 21-foot bin here, you could put a 20,000 bushel 30-foot bin right here, and you'd push a 30-foot bin up to 1 ring taller than your 39-footer, so the peak height would be about the same. You could have these hopper bins all reclaimed together. You could put a 18,000 bushel 30-foot wet bin here with a peak height the same as those hopper bins. That would work like that. I'm not sure on this though, if there's electric transport auger you use, or if you got to hook a tractor on here. We may have to push this bin out in the driveway here a little bit if you need to get a tractor in here. So we may have to push this bin out, which we can, but I was trying to keep it in line with these bins. I like straight lines. But if you need to get a tractor in here for this transport auger, we can always back that out into the driveway some. Then I said, well, I'm not sure on the age of these bins along the shed. If you build a bin out here in the driveway, a 36,000 bushel bin to get by, and then you might decide, you know what, those old bins are too much headache. If you would decide that, you could pull out that, I think that's a 17,000? Yeah, 17,000 bushel bin. You'd lose about just over 24,000 bushel on these 2 old bins. And then you could put a 48-foot bin in here that would fill this space up, a 48-footer. And with a 48-footer, you can economically build it. Now, this one is drawn as a 50,000 bushel bin. But you can economically build a 48-foot bin taller up to where it's a 70,000 bushel bin. So it's quite easy to build them up to a 70,000 bushel bin, as far as it's still a economical bin at that point. We can push that up a little taller. Actually, I think we would have to go another, so if we take it up, that would be 11, 12, 13. So if we would take that up to a 13 ring bin, that would be 4 more rings. That would take us up right about to 70,000 bushel right there. That would be very economical bushels, and that would hold a bunch of corn right there. But you are getting to where you have less bins. Less bins, more storage. Do you want a 70,000 bushel dumping hot corn into? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say you're going to want a 50,000 bushel bin. You're not going to want to go real tall if you have hot corn going into them. So that's another thing you can do. You can say, well, we're gonna put that bin there and still leave this here. Then I did draw this in that you could, if you wanted to, now if you want to eliminate these small bins and buy cheap bushels of storage, because these 50,000 bushel bins are going to be very economical per bushel on purchasing. And then if you could move your dryer up here and go this route, with here you would have 170 some thousand bushel storage in them 4 bins. With all the small grains you do, I don't think this is the route you want to take. I don't think that's what you're going to want to do. I think you would sooner want to go with this route right here, or this right here. And even if you went with this route, we could put this dryer up here, especially if you would want to go with a mixed flow, then I'm going to say you're going to want your dryer up here, because a mixed flow puts a lot of dirt off. You have a lot of dirt around here in the driveway. I think it'd be better to be up here with all the dirt. Just a thought of mine. I did not draw elevators in. I figured we want to get into a little more priority design as far as like how we want the bin layout. I mean, in this case here, you're adding 18,000 in wet storage here. That would be filled with dry corn when it's done. 5,500 bushels, 18-foot bin here, and 21-foot, 10,000 bushel bin here. I would think with the crops you're doing, you're gonna some 7,000 to 10,000 bushel bins are handy, and at the same time you can put this 36,000 bushel bin, just double this bin, put another one up here, and can put a 20,000 bushel storage right in here. We can change that though, like we can still go with this design and have the dryer up here. We can still go that route. I will have to change stuff around for getting a wet bin to feed the dryer. To have a big wet bin feeding the dryer on this style, I will have to change some. Now the easiest way to do that is put an elevator in, set an elevator right here behind the dryer, and have a wet bin like here, and then have the elevator feed these 2 bins, or feed all of these bins and the dryer, and be able to hit this bin or little bins here, and for when you're harvesting crops that are coming off the field dry in the summer, to be able to go with the elevator straight into the bin, and then if your air system go to the bigger bins. That's if we had the dryer here. But this layout, if we had the dryer up here, then we could put an elevator in here. So maybe that's what I need to do, is draw that in up here. To put an elevator in, I'm really gonna lean towards having our dryer up here. I like the dryer setting up here, but I mean, it just depends on what you see like for the next 10 years. What your plan is for the next 10 years, and what you think that looks like. Because once you get some storage, I mean, maybe with storage right now, the thing to do would be put this bin up here next, because you would use that either way no matter what design you have. And if you like small bins and figure these bins will last another 15 years, then go this route, like with this bin up here, then this bin next, and then decide if your dryer's staying here or going up there. Maybe this bin here would be one of your next bins. But if you stay in this design, we could set an elevator out here. We could set an elevator out here, like right here in the future, and have a dump pit here, and that elevator could hit these 4 bins, these 2 bins, and this bin here. Have it set like right here probably would be the thing to do. That way it could hit this one, and these here for bringing in dry grain in the summer. Maybe hit both of these, and these here with an elevator in the future. That there would work real nice. So I think with what you do, there's going to be the route you go. And once you say, okay, now these bins, these 2, this bin, yes, we want that design, then I might, this here, then I might, then I'll draw in an elevator and show 20-year expansion. But we want to get our 5-year projection straight before we worry about our 20-year projection. So there you have that. I kind of like this. This here is I mean, in this case here, you can really blend grain here, and then out here you could have these 2 bins, a jump auger going from one to the other. That way you could load out of both of them at the same time. So yeah, that's a system that you can really blend grain and your different small grains. You can have a little bin with high airflow to put a grain in the summer. Yeah, and the more I roll it around and look and talk, I think best when I'm talking. And yeah, I think this would be a nice setup. And then we set in the future, we set an elevator right here, dump pit here, and so you drive down through here, and then that elevator could hit a bunch of these small bins to bring in wet grain and small grains and stuff, go straight to the bins, and then your bigger bins out here get filled all out of the dryer with corn in the fall. So yeah, let me know what you think on that, and then I'll keep building on it. So to get 10,000 bushel on that 20-foot bin, that's the sidewall height is the same as your now big bin, and to get 21,000 out of this 30-footer, the sidewall height is actually slightly higher than your big bin now, 1 ring taller. But you could do a lot with a system like that. And with that many bins, an air system is going to be your most economical way to do it. If you go to a system like this, then your elevator, conveyor, that stuff becomes more efficient on the just a few big bins, and the conveyors and elevators get more efficient. But with this here, you're better with an air system, because to go to a lot of bins, the air system, it just takes pipe.